Welcome back to the poker vlog. This is number 24. We're at Poker House again. We're still on our trip and we're up a lot, and we're gonna buy into the 1-2 game for $500. And the first hand we're gonna look down at is 9-8 of spades, one of my favorites. It starts off with under the gun. He raises it up to $20, and under the gun 2, an action player puts in the chips for a call. And now it's on us, and we're going to try to isolate the under the gun raiser. We make it $80 as our 3-bet. Under the gun decides to call, and the action player folds. Happy to have this heads up. And now we're going to go to a flop, which isn't our favorite because we have absolutely no equity except for a gutter ball. A 10 will give us a straight. On the board, queen, jack, deuce with 2 clubs. And surprisingly enough, the under the gun player decides to lead into us for $50. I don't think a raise here makes any sense with our hand, but I think we can call and evaluate a turn and river and possibly take it down because I think this turn might be indicative of a straight draw or a club draw. So we decided to get a little sticky here. We put in the $50, and the turn is the 8 of diamonds, so now we have third pair. And our opponent decides to bet again for $50. When he does this, it feels very, very weak. He's betting very small, the same sizing, not putting a lot of thought or trying to protect from anything. It just seems like he wants to get to a river for cheap. We do have third pair, so we have no really reason to raise here unless we have a strong read, and we definitely don't have that right now. We don't really know where we're at, but we do have a pair, so we're going to put in the call, and the river is the 3 of hearts, and surprisingly our opponent checks, and now I think it's just time for us to check back. Why would we bluff a board when we have showdown value? So we decided to check this back, and we win against ace-king that was leading into us, hoping to hit a 10. And if they did, they would have gotten all our chips, so we're very happy that did not happen because he would have had the Broadway straight, and I would have had the lower end of the straight. But regardless of all that, I'm happy to scoop this nearly $400 pot, and if our opponent raised us pre-flop, he 4-betted us over our $80 raise, he would have taken it down, and we would have been out of there fast because we were bluffing essentially with a 3-bet. And this is a perfect reason why I believe in always, almost nearly every time, 4-betting ace-king offsuit. It's one of the best hands in poker. All right, this hand is wild, and it's a strong read. Gil was telling me that this guy has a lot of action, and he'll put pretty much any amount of money in the middle with any 2 cards. So when he limps in and we're in the cutoff, we look down at ace of clubs, deuce of hearts, any ace holding, we're going to be raising against this guy for value. I know it sounds a little loose, but I think it's really profitable long-term versus very, very specific opponents. So we raise it up to $25, and it folds to him, and guess what he does? He goes all in for $500. So when our opponent does this, it strictly feels like he wants to gamble. He doesn't want to play poker. He doesn't want to play post-flop. He doesn't want to make any decisions. He just wants to put all the money in and hopes that he hits. And I don't think he has a hand that's better than ace high. I think he has a king combo, queen combo, jack combo, suited connected combo. And every once in a while, he'll have a hand like pocket deuces, pocket threes, pocket fours, which we won't have a lot of equity against. But if an action player sits down, you want to give him action so that he gives it back to you in return. And I think our ace high might be good here. So we're going to go with a really hard read that he doesn't have an ace because I guess we have removal to it. So we decided to put our entire stack in for $500. And this is not a profitable play, and I'm not saying it's profitable. I just have a hard read, and I'm going with my gut. So we put in the chips. But there was one contingency with this deal that I made with him. I'm going to shout out his company in Dallas, Texas. It's called Blue Jay Plumbing. So shout him out. Give him a call. Here's his number. He asked me to put it on screen and to work with him because he gave me action. That was the agreement we had. Our opponent turns over his cards, and he has queen jack offsuit. We agree to run it twice. I want to give him action. And the first board comes out, ace king 8. Turn is a 9, and the river is another 9. We're going to the second board. It comes queen high, so we're not looking too good until the turn is the ace of spades, and the river is the 6 of diamonds. He hits none of his 2-pair outs or trip outs, and we scoop this $1,000 pot. So make sure you guys support Blue Jay Plumbing in the Dallas, Texas area. And thanks for the action, man. Hope you're doing well. And if you guys are looking for some action like this online, join the Cheddar Club. The link's in my bio. It's super easy to get started and play low stakes all the way to high stakes, PLO, and tournaments. Hope to see you there and have a lot of fun and good luck. And don't forget to let the staff know on Telegram that Funky Poker sent you for a deposit bonus. We look down at king jack offsuit in late position, and when it folds to us, we open the action to $20, and we get 2 callers, the cutoff, and the big blind. $60 in the middle, and the flop comes 5-3 queen with 2 diamonds. We decided to check around to the cutoff who's in position, and he bets $35, and I decided to put in the chips here. I think it's a little speculative, but with the king of diamonds and some backdoor potentials, I think it's okay. In Texas, they're always going to size up pretty big here. So we put in the chips, and now the turn is the ace of clubs, a perfect card for my range, but we're never going to be leading here. That wouldn't make any sense. So we check to our opponent in the cutoff for heads up right now. He decides to down bet on this card, which is so good for me. I think this is a perfect opportunity to check raise and turn our gutter into a bluff and hopefully take it down right now. So we decided to put in a big raise. We make it $185, and our opponent snap folds. And there's definitely no better feeling than getting a snap fold when you're bluffing. But I'm glad that I was able to capture this and find this moment to put in the check raise when the board favors our range. I'm proud I was able to find this spot and take down this pot pre with absolutely nothing. I think that's truly where the skill of poker is involved. And finding bluffs like these as much as you can are very profitable long term. And I'm trying to implement them at a frequency that is balanced rather than psycho, because I'm a bit of a punter sometimes. In this next hand, we look down at ace-8 of diamonds, and I wanted to clarify something that I'm not hopping on this vlog thinking that everything I'm doing here is professional or the Bible and it's the best poker ever. I'm just having fun, learning and expanding as a poker player. I'm very recreational, and I just like to put people in tough spots and maneuver this sport in a way that is mentally challenging and is fun and has a little bit of a gambling aspect to it. So I'm all about it. I just want to sit down at a table and have some fun, sometimes make some money, sometimes throw it away. But long term, I want to get better, and that's the whole point of this channel, is to review and become better as we move forward and go over the mistakes, improve as we move along. So let's continue. There's a $5 straddle along. We're in the small blind with ace-8 of diamonds, and there's 4 limpers. And it's on us. We have a suited ace. We're going to raise it up to $45, and only the middle position player calls. So now we're going heads up to a flop out of position, and the board is pretty awesome for us. It is queen, 10, jack, 2 spades, and there is a diamond on the board, so there is backdoor potential, and there's a possible gutter for the straight, and we could pretend that we have ace-king for the nuts right now, but we do not have that. We have ace-high. So he has a small stack, and I think there's no reason to really go big right now, especially if we did have ace-king, and our goal is to go big on the turn if it's clean. So we decided to bet a little bit smaller than we normally do. We make it $35. Our opponent calls quite quickly. So now with $185 in the middle, the turn is the 6 of hearts, and he has around $150 left. And with this board just being so favorable for ace-king, because it's always at our range and nearly never in his range, we're going to put max pressure, because that was our plan, is to put his entire stack in the middle on the turn if it was clean, and this is clean. So we jam for $150, nearly making this pot $300, and our opponent snap folds, baby. So proud of that. That feels good. And I think having a plan has been one of the most helpful tools I've ever applied to my poker game, because when I first started, I would just bet without really sizing anything correctly. And here we are, improving. Very happy with that. All right, this hand gets a little bonkers pretty quick. We're in middle position with queen, jack, offsuit. I decided to raise it up to $25, and we get 1 caller, and that's the cutoff player. The flop comes 7-9 deuce with 2 hearts. It's a very dry board other than a heart draw, and we have no hearts in our hand, so we can assume our opponent might have a flush draw on this board. We decided to c-bet small for 15, and he calls. The turn is the 4 of clubs. Not really a great card to continue on, but we're still going to continue small, just like we would with like an overpair. Sometimes we'll be checking this, and sometimes we'll be mixing in a c-bet. So we decided to make it $30, around 1/3 the size of the pot, and our opponent calls. And when the river's the 6 of spades, this is where we get a little crazy here. We decided to go for an over pot size bet, essentially representing a straight. I guess I don't really know what my plan was here, but we make it 175 and he snap folds. But I wanted to share this with you because I think that I should be checking this hand and I should be losing this and not be risking $175 extra, because that one time he does have a straight here, it's just not worth it. In my notes, I said both flush draw missed, and we want to put max pressures to underpairs, like, you know, a pair of 8s, 5s, 3s. That's what we did here, but we took down the pot. Not really proud of this one, but it's what happened. I think this can be sort of categorized as a spaz river bet. I just sort of in the moment had this feeling and intuition that a big bet would take it down due to the weakness in the air. Not really something I want to lean on always, especially on this type of board, but it is what it is. For some reason, I didn't put this one down on my notes, but I think it's an important one to mention. We look down at the tanks in Under the Gun 2. Under the Gun decides to raise to $20, and now it's on us. And I think we want to isolate him, so we decided to 3-bet to $75. But then the big blind action player comes along, Jay Plumbing. He hops in, and so does the Under the Gun player, puts in the call. So now we're going 3 ways in a massive pot to a single board. And the flop comes ace 7-8 with 2 diamonds. Not good. I hate seeing this ace out here. I'm not worried about Jay, our action player, having an ace, but our opponent who raised from Under the Gun, he has a lot of aces in his range. So when they both check to me, we're going to check this back. When the turn brings the 3 of clubs, which changes absolutely nothing, the big blind checks, and now it's back to the Under the Gun player, and he makes it $100. And with him having some money behind, this is not a profitable call unless we have a hard read and we know this opponent's player type. But we did coin him as tight and passive, so when he does show aggression here, I think this is just a snap fold. He might even be doing this with like pocket kings sometimes. So we decided to let the tanks go, and we're going to see another day. Don't forget to subscribe and join my poker journey, guys. And if you're liking this video, just give it a thumbs up and turn notifications if you want to get a notification for the next video upload. And now we're going to peel one of my favorite hands to 3-bet and 4-bet bluff with. It's King 10 of Hearts. We're going to be sitting in the small blind this time, and late position decides to raise it up to $12. And now it's our turn to 3-bet out of position to $50. The big blind player snap calls, and this is the same player who had ace-king before against our 9-8 of spades. So we have that in the back of our mind that our opponent will sometimes slow play premium holdings like ace-king, ace-queen. So when the pot is around $115 and the flop comes 9-8 deuce rainbow, an extremely dry board, and I think we can see bet very small here and take it down a lot of the time. So we make it $30 and our opponent calls. We have a decent sized pot brewing here, and the turn is the jack of clubs. We have king 10, and sometimes in this hand we would have queen 10, which is the nuts here, and having the 10 really helps us out here. We have an over and now an open-ended straight draw, so now we want to apply max pressure to any single paired hand and any backdoor club draws that have gained some equity. So with absolutely nothing, but we want to take this pot down now, we're going to apply max pressure, and that is a 150% pot size bet, and we bet $240 into $175 pot, and our opponent snap folds. I'm pretty happy about this play. I think I should be doing this too with the nuts or a lower end straight or sometimes a set to protect against, 10 holdings like my hand. So we take it down and we're happy about it. And welcome to the final hand of the vlog. We look down at pocket queens from the big blind. Middle position 1 player raises up to $15, and there's 2 callers, and now it folds to us. We're going to put in the 3-bet here, just like people with 9-8 suited or Jack 10 suited or sometimes 6-7 suited. This 3-bet is going to be the same size as our premium hand that we have right now, pocket queens. We make it $100, and only the middle position 1 player calls. I've coined this player as a splashy reg player. He knows what he's doing, but he wants to get in pots and try to take them down post-flop, where I think he's the most comfortable. And guess what comes, guys? A big pot brewing, and the flop is queen 8 jack with 2 diamonds. We have top set, but it's not the nuts because we are beaten by 9-10 here. This is a very wet board, and I think I want to bet big here with a lot of my hands, especially if we are connected or if we are bluffing. So we see bet $125, and our opponent calls very quickly. When our opponent does this, I'm assuming he's on a straight draw or a flush draw, so when the turn brings in a disgusting card, it is the 5 of diamonds. I'm going to check this card a lot of the time here, and I think with small flushes I might bet small just to give him some rope to hit his hand, but we decide to check, and our opponent checks back. And I tanked in this spot for around 2 minutes because I really didn't know what to do. And the river is the 8 of spades. So we essentially have the nuts. We're only beat by 1 hand here, and that's pocket 8s. So with $500 in the middle, I think the only thing that looks like a bluff would be a jam here. Our opponent roughly has $700, and I really want to make it look like I'm bluffing because I look like I'm bluffing all the time. That's what Gil tells me all the time. So we decided to go all in for $750, and sadly, our opponent snap folds, and that's going to conclude our session here, guys. Thank you so much for your patience and getting all the way to the end. And here come the beautiful results. We're cashing out of the cage with Giljack Poker. We're in the game for $500, and we're out for $1,245, and that's a profit of 745 buckaroos, baby. That's what I'm talking about. I'll see you guys in the next vlog. Thanks for watching.